Hello, welcome to Vinyasa Flow. My name is Michelle Chua. For today's twisty yoga sequence of asanas, have a couple of blocks or something that can serve as that, as well as a strap or something that can serve as that. And let's begin in a comfortable seat of your choice. Take a moment here to arrive, visually orient yourself in your space. Feel into your body and notice if it would be helpful to prop your pelvis up on a block or pillow or blanket. And then check in physically what sensations are informing you of your physical state. Maybe close your eyes as you start to tune into the way your body is naturally breathing. And then feel into your mind and emotional state. What are you working with today in your practice? And how might you compassionately meet yourself there as you set an intention for what you'd like to grow, expand, nurture within you. And perhaps as well a dedication, offering the efforts of your practice to benefit another besides you, someone that you care about, a group of beings that you care about. And maybe touch your heart space or join your hands there as we open with resonance, chanting three ohms together. Take a deep exhale. And then breathe in fully. Exhale this breath out like you're fogging a mirror, whispering it out. And then if you can, continue to breathe with your mouth closed as you softly narrow the back of your throat, easing into long, even inhales and exhales as you create a gentle whispering sound. Now practicing Ujjayi Pranayama, or victorious breath. So continue to cultivate that sound, a rhythm that you can keep steady as much as possible throughout this hour. And either choose to stay the way that you're sitting or come into some version of hero's pose, which means either sitting on your shins, toes are pointed back, or sitting on a block right between your ankles, still toes are pointed back, and the knees are no wider than hips width apart. And then on your next inhale, reach your arms forward and up, just to the degree up that your shoulders can still release down away from your neck. Hug in your front ribs, press down your pelvis, and lift your crown. Then taking hold of your left wrist with your right hand, begin to lift the spine and side bend to your right. Pausing as you breathe in to draw in the navel and continue to lift your lower spine as you plug the pelvis down. And then exhaling to side bend a little more if possible, about 3 more breaths. So notice how this requires some activation of the side muscles of your core, especially your obliques, which we'll use quite a bit today in our spinal twists. But before we can twist or sort of wring out the torso, we've got to have some length to wring out. Inhale, come up to center and catch hold of your right wrist. Keep the shoulders relaxed. lift up through the spine, and then exhale, side bend to your left. Pause as you breathe in, plug the pelvis deeper, lift the spine a bit more, and maybe side bend further as you breathe out. About 3 more breaths. And on your next inhale, slowly come up to center. And take a look at your strap. Please go ahead and grab it as we make our way onto our backs. We'll take our first spinal twist in a supine variation, which means lying down. So as you lie down, strap in hand, bend your knees, keep your left foot on the floor, and then draw your right knee into your chest so that you can step the ball of your right foot either into the loop or the middle of the strap. Extend your right leg straight up, or you can bend the knee slightly if that's more comfortable. Hold the strap in your left hand and slide your right arm out to the right on the floor so the shoulder stays on the ground as you're looking past it. Lower your left leg all the way down and then begin to cross your right leg slowly to your left. So you're twisting to your left, breath by breath. So while we're here, I'm going to start to read a little excerpt from Rise, Sister Rise by Rebecca Campbell. And this section is actually called Control Freak Tendencies. When we are trying to control things, we are resisting the flow of life, relying on our own strength, trying to hold things in place for fear of what will happen if we lose our grip, believing that if we are not there to hold it together, something bad will happen. Beneath every control freak is a fear of letting go, a fear of not being supported, held, and looked after. On your next inhale, slowly raise your right leg and begin to switch sides. So step the right foot on the ground, step the ball of the left foot into the strap, hold the strap in your right hand as you extend your left leg upright, and then slide your left arm out to left, keeping the left shoulder down, maybe look towards it. Slide your right leg forward onto the ground and begin to twist slowly to your right, breath by breath. It is impossible to trust and control at the same time. It is impossible to play and be controlling at the same time. It is impossible to leap courageously and be a control freak at the same time. You are supported beyond what you could possibly fathom. The only thing in the way of allowing yourself to feel the support is the belief that you are not. Can you find the courage and faith to leap? So, whether you need to hear this today or for yourself, or maybe to show compassion for somebody else that you might perceive as a control freak, right? This so much aligns to the yogic practice within the first limb, the yama called aparigraha, which means non-attachment, the ability to let go, to loosen the grip, to let life flow. Take another breath as you lift the left leg up. Place the strap down and then bend your knees to hug into your chest for a moment and just gently hug the thighs in and then gently roll them away, forward and back a little bit. So it's a little bit of massaging your sacrum into the ground and your lumbar spine. So how might you bring this idea of letting life flow as you move through this physical practice that has quite a bit to do with release, spinal twist? We know that stimulates digestive flow, right? Releasing what might still need to be digested. And then from here, lift your knees so that they are directly above your hips and your shins are parallel to the floor. Either point or flex your feet and begin to draw your belly towards your back so that you shorten the space between your lower back and the ground. Open your arms wide apart, keep both shoulders down and breathe in. As you exhale slowly, lower your knees to the right just to hover as close to the floor as you can without dropping them, as the left shoulder stays grounded. Then on a slow inhale, slowly lift your knees back to center. Then exhale over to the left, hovering them. Right shoulder stays on the ground. Try that at least 3 more on each side at your pace of breath. The inhale to lift the knees to center, and the exhale to mindfully lower them to one side. Now, if you want to explore some more challenge in this twisting movement, you could straighten your legs, and when you lower them, hover your feet over one hand. Just make sure the opposite shoulder stays down. Listen in on the quality of your breath here. That gentle whisper you're cultivating as you narrow the back of your throat and breathe just through your nose. Feeling that sound is not forceful or erratic, but it's as smooth and intentional and balanced as possible. So finish the last round that you're on, even on both sides. And as you come back to center, draw your bent knees into your chest and begin to rock and roll forward and back several times. You might gently bring the legs overhead. You might press the feet on the ground like a squat until we'll eventually meet in downward facing dog. So pressing your hands flat on the floor towards the front of your mat, lifting your pelvis high and back as you stretch into your back. And maybe take a few breaths to pedal out your feet and warm up the backs of your legs if you like, or any gentle movement that helps you to warm up into the shape. As you spread your fingers wide, notice that your index fingers are not pointing towards each other. They're either parallel or slightly turned out. As you roll your triceps to face the ground and lift the shoulders back, drop your head. Now let's hold still as you listen in on 3 breaths. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog. Now imagine a large version, a whole body version of cat pose where you round the back. So drop your chin towards your chest, look at your navel, and inhale, roll forward, round, and then come into plank pose to pause for a few breaths. You elongate the crown towards your front wall and lengthen your tailbone and inner heels actively towards your back wall, lifting the belly, softening the shoulders back. 2 more breaths. You can lower the knees if you like. Now keep this long line in your spine, this lifted navel, as we lower into Chaturanga Dandasana for at least an inhale pause, maybe longer. Take a deep breath in, then exhale, glide forward. Your shoulders relax, look forward on the ground, and bend your elbows to hug your side ribs. There's Chaturanga, 90-degree bend. And then when you're ready, slowly lower all the way to the ground, pointing your toes back. Press every toenail actively on the floor, and then slide your forearms forward, lifting your chest in Sphinx pose. So as you land the elbows right under your shoulders, press your shoulder blades down your back. Take a few breaths of broadening your chest as you look slightly down to lengthen the back of your neck. Opening your front body, like your abdomen, your chest, inner shoulders. One more deep breath here. Then slide your palms back so they align, the heels of your palms align with your lowest ribs. Bend your elbows close to your sides and tuck your toes. Take a deep inhale, and then exhale, press back to plank pose. You can have the knees on the floor if you like. Lift your pelvis, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, lift your heels and hips high, and look past your hands as you take a deep inhale. Exhale completely, then holding the breath, lift your pelvic floor and walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. In your forward fold, this first one, have your feet hips width apart and parallel. Bend your knees lightly. Reach your weight towards the front of your heels and press the ground or your shins as you inhale to lengthen your spine forward. Halfway rise. Exhale, fold. From down through your feet, inhale, stretch your arms forward. And as you rise, come into a gentle standing back bend. Whether the palms meet or not, look up. Exhale, bring your hands together at your hearts. Let's flow to the sound of your breath. Inhale your arms forward and up, oiling the chest. Exhale, place your hands outside of your feet on blocks of the floor, folding. Inhale, step the left knee back to a kneeling lunge as you look up. Hold the breath in and step into plank. Exhale, glide forward, lower through chaturanga. Now either come all the way down for cobra or flip your toes. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, draw in the navel, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the left foot forward beside the left thumb, kneeling lunge as you look up. Exhale, step the right foot forward and bow. Inhale your arms forward and up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Surya Namaskar C, second side. Inhale, arms forward and up. Exhale, bow in. Inhale, right knee steps back to a kneeling lunge, look up. Hold the breath and step into plank. Exhale, lower forward through chaturanga. Cobra or upward dog as you breathe in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the right foot forward, back knee down, looking up. Exhale, step the left foot forward and bow. Inhale, rise to a standing back bend. Exhale to gather at your heart. Let's flow into Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, circle your arms. Let your palms meet. Exhale, dive into a forward fold. Inhale, rise halfway. Either step into plank and lower or float into chaturanga. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pausing here this time for 3 breaths. Steady your gaze. End of your 3rd exhale. With your breath held out, walk or float to the top. Then inhale to rise halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise all the way up, palms touch. Exhale to gather at your heart. Twice more, sun salutation A. Inhale, overhead in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold in Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Step or float to lower through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Bhujangasana, Cobra, or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. We'll meet for a few breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bottom of the 3rd exhale, walk or float to the top. Take this last round on your own. We'll meet in downward dog. Inhale, exhale, your pace of breath. Three breaths in downward dog. As you press your spread fingers into the earth, inhale, raise your right leg behind you, squaring your hips. So turn the right outer hip down, press the left outer hip back. Exhale, touch the right knee outside of your right upper arm, shift into plank, then softly step the foot outside of your right hand, lizard lunge. We'll take 5 breaths here. You can lower the back knee or keep it lifted. You can place your hands on blocks, forearms on the ground. As you keep your right foot flat on the earth, point the knee and toes forward and hug your right outer hip in towards you. Let's tune into the breath. Begin to walk your right foot front and center on your mat. Spin the left heel down and align your front heel to the arch of your back foot for Warrior 2. Cartwheeling your arms to rise up. Steady your gaze past your right hand for 5 breaths. So wrap your right outer hip under your body and hug it in as you firm the top of your left thigh bone towards you too, relaxing your shoulders. Pressing both feet into the ground, straighten your right leg and slide your pelvis towards the back of your mat. Reach your right hand forward and down for triangle pose, 5 breaths. Gazing up past your left thumb or elsewhere that you can direct your gaze steadily while relaxing your neck. So as you continue to hug the right hip in, add tacking the right hip crease back towards your left outer heel as you lengthen through your spine and crown towards your front wall. Find a little twist here. You're spiraling your chest slightly to face the sky. Rotate your left outer upper arm to face the left wall. Reach the left arm overhead, keep the shoulders back. Micro-bend your right knee, and maybe raise the right arm parallel to the left as we activate the obliques, the side muscles of your torso. 4 more breaths here. Keep spiraling your chest slightly to face the sky. Look down at your right foot. Lower your 2 hands to frame it and feel free to grab blocks if that helps you to reach down more easily. Step your left foot 1 foot forward to shorten your stance and separate your feet as wide apart as your hips with your 2 hips facing forward, legs straight, entire feet on the floor. Pyramid pose. Inhale, lengthen halfway and slide the shoulders back. Feel that your 2 hips are even as you exhale to fold, breath by breath. Parsvottanasana. So here to support your lower back, you want to draw your navel in towards your spine, a little activation in the belly. Feel the strength and groundedness of your 2 legs, especially your back foot. As you inhale, lengthen your spine again, parallel to the floor as we enter revolved triangle pose. Now you could keep your left hand on the left side of your front foot, or if you want to play with added depth or balance challenge, you can step the left hand on the right side of your front foot on the floor or block. Let's use the right thumb and hook the right outer hip crease slightly back to keep your 2 hips even. Then press to your feet and inhale, stretch your spine down the midline of your mat. Keep the shoulders back. Now at your waistline, exhale, begin to twist to the right. So you're just turning the rib cage like it's a globe spinning on the axis of your spine. For about 4 more breaths here. Raise your right arm up and begin to stack your wrists and shoulders in one line. Notice your breathing. Look down at your right foot, Lower your two hands and let's step into plank pose, top of a push-up. From in the belly, firm your inner heels back and activate your quadriceps, front muscles of your thighs. Wrap your triceps towards the rear of the room and broaden the shoulder blades on your back ribs. Lengthen your crown forward for one more breath in. Then scoop in the belly, exhale to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath. Let it go. Is there any part of the body gripping right now that you could soften and bring that attention of aparigraha, non-attachment, ability to let life flow? Second side, lift from the inseam of your leg to keep your hips squared. Inhale, raise the left foot back. Exhale, slowly tap the knee outside your left upper arm in plank pose, and then quietly step the left foot forward outside of your left hand, lizard lunge. Now either keep the back knee lifted or set the knee down, hands in the ground or blocks, or maybe forearms on the ground. 5 breaths. As your left sole is entirely connected to the earth, point your left knee and toes forward and hug your left outer hip in towards your body. As you finish this breath, let's step the left foot front and center on your mat. Spin your right heel down and align front heel to arch a back foot. Cartwheel your arms into Warrior Two and steady your gaze just ahead of your left hand, tuning into your breath. Similarly, hug the left outer hip in and add firming the top of your right thigh bone towards you. Tall spine. Press through both feet and straighten your left leg, gliding your hips to the rear of your mat, your left arm towards the front wall and down. Triangle pose, Trikonasana. Right away, steady your eyes in one spot, maybe up towards your right thumb. Rotate your chest slightly to face the sky, find that bit of a twist as you tack the crease of your left hip towards your outer right heel. Rotate your right tricep to face your right wall. Sweep your right arm overhead. Keep the shoulder blades down your back. Then micro bend your left knee and maybe explore extending the left arm parallel to the right for 5 breaths. Keep spiraling your chest slightly to face the sky. Soften the face. Look down at your left foot, lower your hands to frame it on blocks or the floor, and step your right foot forward about 1 foot shorter stance. As both hips face the front of the room, separate your feet as wide as your hips, round both heels and straighten both legs. Pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. As you breathe in, lift your chest and lengthen it forward. Slightly scissor your left hip back as you exhale to fold, breath by breath, exploring your range. Again, feel a little activation of the belly here, opening the throat as well. Inhale, lift the spine parallel to the ground again. Prepare to twist. Either right hand stays on the inner side of the front foot, or bring it to the outside on a block of the floor. Take your left thumb to the crease of your left outer hip, tacking it back slightly to keep your hips even. Root down through both feet and stretch your spine down the center line of your mat as you breathe in. Focus on your waistline. Twist there as you exhale. Turn the chest to the left, little by little. Raise the left arm up. Got about 4 more breaths here. In Parita Trikonasana, revolve triangle pose. Look down at your left foot. This time, lower your hands and step the right foot to touch the left, folding in. You're going to start Sun Salutation B continuously for 2 cycles. So listen to your breath. Bend your knees together. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Step back or float to Chaturanga. Inhale, Cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, raise the right leg back, keep your hips squared. Exhale, step the foot beside your right thumb and spin the back heel down. Face forward and rise. Warrior One. Exhale, Chaturanga. Flow into your Vinyasa. And return to downward dog. Inhale, lift from the inseam, left leg back. Exhale, step the foot beside left thumb, back heel down. Face forward, inhale, Warrior One. Exhale, Chaturanga. Finish your Vinyasa, and we'll meet in downward dog. Taking 3 breaths there. Eyes steady. At the end of your 3rd exhale, hold your breath as you walk or float to the top of your mat. With feet touching, inhale, rise forward. Exhale, fold. Knees touching. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, rise up. Last round of Surya Namaskar B. Follow your breath. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Step or jump. Inhale, coil the chest open. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, rise to Warrior One. Exhale, lower to flow. Change it up as you need. Rest when you need. Take side 2 on your own, and we'll meet in downward dog. Your 3 breaths in downward dog. Calibrate the pace of your breathing and reattune your mind to the intention of your practice. Bottom of the 3rd exhale, I'll meet you at the top. When feet touch, inhale to rise halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, chair, Uttanasana. Exhale up to mountain, Tadasana. Let's bring the hands behind the back and either grab your strap or interlace your fingers. Separate your feet hips width apart, still parallel, then roll your shoulders back and inhale, look up. With knees generously bent, exhale to fold, completely dropping your head. Stretch your arms away from your lower back, opening the front. As you let your head just fall heavily into relaxing your neck, lift your shoulders away from your neck too. Place your hands alongside your feet. Step your left knee back to a kneeling lunge. Make sure your legs are hips distance and your front knee is bent right on top of the heel. Then imagine as if you're dragging your legs towards each other, just energetically, not visibly moving. Lift the pelvic floor and then rise up to kneeling lunge. Feel your tall spine as you relax your shoulders. Using your right thumb, hook the crease of your right outer hip, tack it back and down so your two hips feel even and there's an added feeling of groundedness. Inhale, stretch your spine forward down the center of your mat. Exhale, turn your chest to the right. Now see if you might be able to use your right hand and hook the left elbow outside of your right thigh, either opening your arms wide or joining your hands in prayer. If not, you can place your left hand on the floor or a block just under your left shoulder on the inner side of your right leg. But if you have that hook, maybe you add lifting the back knee and stay twisting in a high lunge. Make sure that the right hip does not lift higher than the left hip. Think of pressing your inner left heel towards the back of the room and reaching the crown of your head towards the front of the room. So steady your eyes. Feel into 3 more breaths. Revolved side angle pose. Harita Uttita Parshvakonasana. Inhale, look at the floor just in front of your right foot. Place your 2 hands down on blocks. Yep, blocks. Then remember the squaring of your hips by raising from the inseam of your back leg. Walk your hands 1 foot ahead of your right foot on blocks. And flex the left foot off the floor in Warrior 3. Now really activate the muscles in your legs, especially your lifted leg, as if your left inner heel was pressing against the back wall, rebounding a lengthening of your crown towards the front wall. Lift your navel as if you're balancing in plank pose. Now take the left hand and walk it 1 foot in front of your right big toe. We're preparing to twist in half moon. Use your right thumb again. Hook the crease of your right outer hip back. Lengthen through your center line. Exhale, turn your chest to the right. Maybe raise the right arm too. So your balance has a lot to do with the positioning of your left leg and the activation of your left leg. Make sure that left leg is not crisscrossing into the lane of your right leg, keeping your legs hips width apart. Feel your breathing here. Maybe look up. 3 more breaths. Harita Ardha Chandrasana. Revolved half moon pose. One more deep breath. Now gaze at the ground. Lower your 2 hands again. Standing splits. Lift from the inseam of the left leg and bow towards your right shin. Optional to plant your hands a foot ahead on the ground and kick up once towards a handstand. And then I'll meet you in downward facing dog. Entering side 2 differently, step your left foot forward inside of your left hand. Lower your back knee, kneeling lunge. Legs hips width apart, front knee stacked over the heel. Energize your legs as if you're dragging them together. Then rise up, feel the space throughout your spine. Using your left thumb, hook the crease of your left outer hip and press it down. Feel that weightedness there to keep your 2 hips balanced. Draw the navel in. Inhale, stretch your spine forward. Spiral your chest to the left as you exhale, entering the same version, if you can, of the twist as the first side. Hooking the elbow, placing the right hand on the ground or a block. And once you have your balance here, you might choose to straighten the back leg. Keep leveling your hips, pressing the inner right heel back, crown of the head reaching forward. As you steady your gaze, let's take another 3 to 4 breaths. Revolved side angle pose. Harita Uttita Parshvakonasana. Now gaze at the floor ahead of your left foot. Lower your hands on blocks. Square off your hips to face the front. Prepare to activate the muscles of your right leg. Place your blocks 1 foot ahead of your left foot and lift from the inseam of the right leg. Flex the right foot, warrior 3. Take a few breaths, feeling this strong horizontal center line of your body, lifting the navel. As you feel that sense of stability, walk the right hand 1 foot in front of your left big toe. Keep the legs in their own lanes. Use your left thumb and hook the crease of your left outer hip back as you lengthen forward and back through this horizontal line. Breathe in. Now at your waistline, direct the twist as you exhale, turning your rib cage like a globe. Chest turns to face the left wall. Maybe raise the left arm. Begin to stack your shoulders and wrists. Revolved, half moon pose. Harita, Ardha, Chandrasana. 3 to 4 more breaths. Look down in front of you, place your 2 hands down, standing splits. Lift from the inner right leg, flex the foot as you bow towards the left shin. Optional to plant your hands flat on the floor and maybe try to tap the right leg with the left. And then I'll meet you in downward facing dog. Last chance to flow through Vinyasa if you like. Now, choose your active inversion. Whether you stay in downward dog, maybe lift the leg and then switch legs, or lower your forearms and come into dolphin, elbows right under the shoulders, chest pressing back. Or practice Shirshasana headstand, interlace the fingers, create a triangular base, and crowd the head to the floor and begin to lift the legs without kicking them up. Whatever your active inversion, take about 10 breaths, your count, and we'll meet in child's pose. When you arrive in child's pose, take 3 to 5 breaths, maybe some cooling lion's breaths in which you exhale deeply with the mouth open wide, releasing any sound that may need to just move through you. Then let's prepare for 2 rounds of camel pose. Please take one of your blocks and by the skinniest width, hug it right in between your thighs. And come to stand on your knees. Let's begin by tucking the toes behind you. Place your hands on your lower back, fingertips face down. Actively reach your tailbone towards the ground between your knees. And keep your pelvis directly above your knees the entire pose. And activate your lower belly, slightly lifting your frontal hip bones. Soften in the front ribs. Bend your elbows close together to start opening your chest. Take a deep breath and coil your chest up. Roll the shoulder heads back and down. Focus on arching mostly right under your shoulder blades for 5 to 10 breaths. Then you'll rise up and find a comfortable seat on your own. You could add backstroking the right arm and catching hold of the right heel, then switching, or possibly backstroking both arms, catching both heels. Pay attention to the quality of your breath as you sustain camel pose or Ustrasana. When you come down to sit, some version of hero's pose, maybe a block between the ankles, perhaps hands at your heart. Take 3 slow breaths before you practice one more camel pose. In this posture, this heart opening posture, how might you practice letting go, ungripping, whatever that might mean for you? So round 2, last one. Take the block between your thighs. Either tuck your toes or point your toes this time. Hands on the lower back to start. Oil your chest open, 5 to 10 breaths. I'll meet you sitting. And again, once you're back to sitting and resting, take about 3 slow breaths and just feel into the effects of that asana. And now our last back bend. Take your choice as we lie on our back for restorative bridge pose, regular bridge pose, or upward facing bow. Restorative bridge, we'll set up the same way in all 3. Step your feet on the ground, hips distance apart, bend your knees. Now restorative bridge, lift your pelvis and place the block underneath your sacrum and you're in it. 5 to 10 breaths. Regular bridge, hug the block again between your thighs and lift your pelvis. Arms under your back, maybe clasp the hands. Otherwise, upward facing bow. First, locate your feet in bridge or upward bow. So you want to have your feet where you could almost touch your heels with your fingertips while your arms are down by your sides. Not quite, just almost. Parallel the feet. Then raise the arms and bend the elbows towards the sky as you plant your palms face down alongside your ears. Keep your elbows, your shoulders distance apart in upward bow. Really important. Press the shoulder blades down your back. Wrap the triceps forward like you've been doing in downward dog. Then lift your pelvis. Plant your feet still, but imagine you're dragging them towards your glutes. So activate the hamstrings and lengthen the front of your thighs forward. Then bring the top of your head to the floor. Maybe walk the hands slightly wider apart. Stay here or push off your hands and lift your head. Think of lengthening tailbone towards the front wall, chest towards the back wall. 5 to 10 breaths. Upward facing bow, Urdhva Dhanurasana. Some of you might straighten your legs. Some of you might lower onto your forearms. And then take the steps in reverse, slowly to come down. And we'll meet with pelvis on the floor, block set aside, gently windshield wiping your shins together, side to side for a few breaths. Please draw your bent knees into your chest. Then wrap your right leg over your left leg like eagle pose. Scoot your pelvis 3 to 4 inches towards the right edge of your mat. Slide your right arm and ground the shoulder as you look past it. Lift your feet again, and then slowly drop your knees to your left into a supine twist. 5 breaths here. Begin to slow down your out breaths, slightly longer than your in breaths. To help release the lower back, you could press the left palm into your outer right hip, drawing that hip forward. And then let's slowly roll back to center, uncross the legs, center your pelvis. Then wrap the left leg over the right like eagle pose. Scoot your pelvis slightly closer to the left edge of your mat and open your left arm wide. Ground the shoulder, look past it. Pick up your feet and gently twist to your right. About 5 breaths here. Maybe add pressing your right palm against your left outer hip, drawing it forward. And gently come back to center, uncross the legs, and rock yourself up to sit for Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. You have the option of placing a strap around the balls of your feet to help you fold in, or have your hands alongside your hips. Separate your feet hips width apart, flex them, press your big toe mounds forward so there's a slight internal rotation of your thighs. And then press off your pelvis to lift up through your spine. Keep your chest and throat open. Take a deep breath. As you firm in the belly, exhale, begin to fold. Take it breath by breath for about 7 breaths here. Now, without rounding your back, if you could clasp your big toes with your index and middle fingers, as you do that, flare your elbows apart and continue to slide the shoulders down. Slightly lift the chest. Seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Continue to firm in the belly. Inhale, lift from your chest, coming all the way up. And now let's set up for Shavasana. So you could use your blocks to support your lower back. You could place them under the backs of your knees as you splay out the feet. You could drape a blanket over your body, maybe cover your eyes with something. A gentle weight can be helpful to be still in relaxation. So set up your body in any way it may need to be supported so that it can be still. And as you land in that corpse pose, close your eyes and take a mental scan of your whole body slowly. Feel into the left and right sides and find a sense of harmony with the two. Soften areas that might still be exerting effort or gripping. Maybe take one last, very clearing exhalation through the mouth. And then let it all go as you keep your presence awake.
Saraswati Namaha. Aim Shrim Hrim Saraswati Namaha. Saraswati Namaha. Saraswati Namaha. Saraswati Namaha. Jai Ma. Jai Ma.
Ease into deepening your breath, perhaps keeping your eyes closed as you gently move your body out of stillness into a simple stretch. Perhaps turning over your right side, taking your time. Please eventually rise into a comfortable seat so that we can sit for our last 5 minutes together in meditation. So I'd like to offer a self-inquiry meditation in which you pose a question to your inner being and hold space for any thoughts, images, sensations, felt sense to arise, while staying present to observe it all. So please find a comfortable seat in which you can feel alert, open, and calm. Place your hands in any mudra that helps you to focus, to listen in and be open. For today, I offer the lotus mudra, in which you bring the inner palms to touch like a flower blossoming, with pinky fingers, and put all the other fingers open up towards the sky, and maybe palms to meet your sternum. And this is a representation of channeling purity, of channeling insight. As you open up to whatever response comes from within. And so the question I offer is, in what area of my life am I willing to practice letting go? In what area of my life am I willing to practice letting go? Sit for 5 minutes.
Chua.
Join the palms to meet at the heart as you lift your heart. Bow in to freedom. Closing this practice, any thought of gratitude that comes to mind. Remembering whom you've dedicated this practice to today. And restating the intention that brought you here. Seal the practice with one chant of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.